endeavors to hopefully inspire and encourage you this morning. I really hope to convey a message of dedication and perseverance. And I'm going to use some examples from my life recently this past year, but that I think, as I'll touch on just briefly at the end, really have an application to both what we do in our professions as well as our personal lives. So, title of my talk is Stay Positive and Embrace the Challenges. So this is a mantra that was given to me as encouragement for an endeavor that I pursued just this past summer that I'll get into explaining a little bit more. But one thing that I've come to realize, and I think a lot of us can relate to, no matter what stage we're at in life, whether we're students, just beginning our careers, and we're senior level in our careers, life doesn't really get easier. A lot of times we think, okay, if I can just get to this next job, or once I have this, things will be easier, things will fall into place. From personal experience, and I think a lot of you can relate, that things don't really get easier. We might get a better position, but that means more responsibility, maybe longer hours. There's always challenges, there's always obstacles. So what I would challenge you to do is really recognize that you always have a choice. So your mindset is really up to you. Your circumstances you can't always control, but we can control whether or not we go into a situation with a positive mindset or a negative mindset. So I really challenge you to embrace the power of positive thinking and see how that can affect you both in your personal life as well as your professional life. Okay, so a little bit about me. As Cindy just said, I did my undergraduate degree in human biology at UC San Diego. So I took somewhat of a non-traditional route to get into the field of dietetics. I've always kind of been a nerd at heart. I loved science, knew I wanted to work with people, and when I took a nutrition elective, I thought, okay, this is it. This combines my love of science, but it's so directly applicable to people's lives. So I knew I wanted to focus on nutrition. UC San Diego does not have an actual nutrition major, so I continued out my time there, then went on to get my master's in nutritional biology at UC Davis. Again, not really entering into the clinical realm yet. I loved the research, but ultimately knew I wanted to work with people. So from Davis, I applied to the San Diego VA, or 2 internships, was accepted, and very thankful to be accepted to the San Diego VA dietetic internship, which I loved. I thought it was great training, and was very passionate about starting out my career. Upon finishing my internship, it was a challenge to find, and actually didn't find a full-time job for quite a while as I entered the field of nutrition. I tried not to let that discourage me, because one thing I had taken away from listening to other dietitians talk was that a lot of times their career paths all looked very different. One of the beautiful things about the field of nutrition is that it really gives you the opportunity to see what you're good at, see what you're interested in, and really pursue those avenues. At the same time, that can be very daunting for someone like me who's very type A and likes structure and order to really have this kind of nebulous field where you can go in a lot of different directions. So I think it's kind of a pro and a con of this field. There's no set career path, but at the same time there's lots of opportunities. So again, how your mindset going into that environment can really make a difference. So I worked several different jobs. Some of my lovely employers are here, actually, but doing different contract positions, and finally ended up working per diem at Kaiser Permanente here in Irvine. So that's been my main position for the last several years. Something else that is unique about me, but something that really I am passionate about in addition to nutrition, is endurance sports. I just was kind of a novice basketball player, track runner in high school, never very good. But in my freshman year in college, some friends said, oh, we're signing up for a half marathon, you should do it with us. And I thought, like double-digit mileage, I just don't know about that. I mean, 13 miles, oh my goodness. But didn't really train, we signed up, we ran it. It was the La Jolla Half Marathon down in beautiful, sunny San Diego. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but though that runner's high, let me tell you, it is a real thing. I finished the race, was just on cloud 9. I signed up for another one that night, and then I couldn't walk for about a week. So I kind of regretted that decision and thought, well, I'll do some more training, maybe next time we'll go better. But I was hooked with the racing. I loved having a little bit of a structure, the structure that training provided, even though it was just little online training programs that I would follow, but it gave me something to look forward to while I was in school and busy. It was always a good mental break, a little bit of an outlet for me. So since my first half marathon in 2005, I've done 14 half marathons, 3 marathons, and then I got into triathlons a little bit because why do one sport when you could do 3? Since then I've done a handful of the shorter triathlons, and over the last couple years decided to test my limits a little bit. I did 2 half Ironman races, and then just this summer a full Ironman. For those of you that don't know, a full Ironman, and I'll get into the details in a little bit, but it requires a lot of training. I would kind of equate it to a part-time job. You're looking at probably 10 to 20 hours of training a week. So just as an example, what does a day look like in the life of Ironman training? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday looked something like this for me. About 5 a.m. my alarm would go off to wake me up, get me to the pool for a master's swim practice at 5:45. So that would take me till 7. And the first 6 months of that were really, really rough when I first started swimming with the master's program. But I found that the more that I did it, I was actually a lot more productive in my day. When I was doing outpatient counseling, I found the words rolled off my tongue a little bit better. I could connect with my patients really well. I was alert. I was very energized. So it was finally able to become something of a habit for me. One of the benefits of getting up that early is that you do get to enjoy beautiful sunrises while you're swimming. So the rest of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as we'll get to in a little bit, I am a grad student right now, so the rest of my day was pretty much 9 to 5, either working at Kaiser or back in class. And then usually in the evening, I would wrap up my day with a 6 to 10 mile run. So that was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tuesday, Thursday was usually some version of strength training, and then some hill repeats or interval training on the bike. For anyone who's on Strava, I appreciate the hill repeat. Saturdays were the long bike rides. This, I will tell you, for anyone that thinks about training for an Ironman specifically, make sure you are either single or have a very supportive spouse. Because they will not see you on Saturdays, probably, or Sundays, at least for 4 to 6 months. So our long rides were anywhere from 85 to 115 miles. Just a couple, I know they're small, but a couple fun pictures. Took us up to Big Bear, down to Oceanside. And then Sundays would be an ocean swim and a long run. So practicing swimming in that wetsuit and running on extremely tired legs. So a couple of training and racing life lessons that come from triathlon or from endurance sports in general, because I do believe that there are a lot of them. So we all know the importance of physical preparation to do an event like this. It takes a lot of time. We're training our bodies, we're increasing our aerobic capacity, we're strengthening our muscles. But something that's often overlooked, I think, is the mental preparation. Come race day, if you've done your training, or probably even 75% of your training, your body will perform as it needs to. But the mental preparation is something that most people, I think, take for granted. And when it comes to a race, often success versus failure comes down to the mental aspect of the race. So during my training, I have a lot of friends that have done triathlons before. They gave me a lot of encouragement. I looked up inspirational quotes online. And one of the mantra that really stuck with me was stay positive and embrace the challenges. Little did I know how much this was truly going to become the theme of my Ironman journey. So one lesson I learned the hard way on April 25th is that there's no such thing as a perfect race. There's also no such thing as a perfect training plan. So I had wonderful goals of this structured training plan, what I was going to do in preparation. April 25th, I was about 30 or 40 miles into one of these long bike rides and had a pretty serious bike crash that left me with a concussion and out of running for the next 2.5 months. And that was the 2.5 months leading up to the race. So not something you really want to endure. I questioned whether I was going to make it to the starting line. Was this ruining my chance of ever finishing an Ironman? I didn't know. So really putting those last 2 points of staying positive and embracing the challenges into practice became something I found myself having to do on a daily basis. So after hours of chiropractic adjustments, physical therapy, ART, acupuncture, running on an Ultra-G treadmill, which is a very strange experience if you haven't done it before, I did make it to the starting line of Ironman Boulder on August 2nd. So, for those of you that don't know what an Ironman consists of, is a 2.4 mile swim, And as we learned, another beautiful challenge I got to embrace the day of the race. And everyone always says, you know, prepare for the best, expect the worst. So the morning of the race, as you might know, traditionally in Ironman swims, you're in a wetsuit, which is wonderful, and you basically full float in a wetsuit. So not quite as tiring, especially over something as long as a 2.4-mile swim. Well, race morning in Boulder, the water temperature was too high. So it was above what the USA Triathlon considers to be a legal water temperature to wear wetsuits. So it was not a wetsuit legal race. So I was thankful that a lot of my swimming and a lot of my yardage had been actually done in a pool where you don't wear a wetsuit. Because morning of, I had to leave my wetsuit with my bag and go sans wetsuit. So if you can survive the mass chaos that is the beginning of an Ironman swim, you will, 2.4 miles later, that's me, make it out of the water to enter into the next leg of your race, which is then 112-mile bike ride. So I had the pleasure of experiencing the beautiful scenery that is Boulder, Colorado for about 6 hours on my bike. And I will tell you, there's no greater feeling in the world after 6 hours of sitting in that position, of finally getting off your bike and seeing your husband waiting to give you a high five as you run to then begin the final leg of your race, which is a 26.2-mile run. Again, this, I will tell you, I was physically and emotionally so overwhelmed the first maybe 2 to 3 miles of this run, because literally day by day leading up to this race, the pain that I had and the issues I was having with running slowly subsided to the point that the day of the race I did not have any pain or experience any issues related to the injury that I had had from the bike crash. I couldn't believe it. I was just thanking in my mind all of the people that had worked on me and helped me and given me strength training to do to get me to that point. It was really one of the most incredible experiences, was actually making it there, knowing what I had come through. And so that was something that I realized at that moment, that really in order to embrace challenges, you have to stay positive. Because what happens is when we start to have a negative mindset, I think it limits our problem-solving abilities, I think it limits our creative thinking, and sometimes it prevents us from actually seeing these challenges as opportunities. And one really unique opportunity that came from this whole experience for me actually is that my physical therapy office that I went to, I'm now working with them as their sports nutrition or their sports dietitian, and looking to see how they could actually add a sports dietitian onto their staff or as one of their associates, which was something I never ever would have experienced had I not been at that physical therapist's office getting rehab for this race. So I've worked closely with my physical therapist, and sports nutrition is something I've always been passionate about. Not sure if it's something I could pursue as a main career, but something I always wanted to at least do as a side business or potentially have opportunities there as well. So actually since this experience, I've had many, many opportunities to start to share with teams, with coaches, and then work with my physical therapist as well. So after a long 11 hours and 35 minutes, I had the just sheer joy of hearing them announce my name, and they say, you know, Kristen, and usually they'll say where you're from, or if it's your first time, you're an Ironman. It goes by really fast, but thankfully there's pictures and videos to remind me of that. Just to kind of wrap things up, in addition to that, something else that I've been really passionate about, and a place where I've certainly faced challenges and am struggling sometimes to stay positive, is going back to school. I decided last fall to pursue my PhD in nutritional epidemiology at UC Irvine. I've always been really passionate about translational research. So like I said, I love science, but I also love working with people, and I love seeing changes actually being made in people's lives. So I'm in my second year now, and sitting, doing long nights of homework, weekends of homework. Sometimes I think I'm way too old for this, and I should just, you know, go back to a 9-to-5 job and get paid for it. But I know that this is where my heart is, and I know there will be a lot of great opportunities moving forward with that. So again, just to kind of wrap up with staying positive and embracing challenges. Like I said, I think that can apply both to our own lives. When we are faced with challenges, you know, really check in with yourself and say, what's my mindset going to be as I enter this? And really seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, opportunities to discover things about your own strength of character that you maybe didn't know before because they were never called upon. Taking those opportunities to really see, to develop ways that you can then be relatable to other people, because that can make a big difference when other people are going through challenges. So really see challenges as learning opportunities and opportunities for growth. One way that I think we see it a lot with as students, like I was saying, this is a field that has a lot of opportunities, but not always a lot of clear-cut direction or a standard job that we all go into. I think Melanie gave some really excellent examples of that, of just how sometimes you have to take the opportunity you're given and work with it. Think about what you enjoy doing. Think about what your strengths are and how can you apply those in whatever situation that you find yourself in. In clinical practice, I think we have a lot of opportunities as well. I know I work outpatient and with a lot of people that are trying to make lifestyle changes either for weight loss or to manage different diseases. And so often they think, if I mess up one time, it's done. I toss in the towel, and instead recognizing and helping them address what obstacles and what challenges they might face and then how to work through those and how to stay positive. I mean, we know we live in a world that's bombarded by large portions and marketing of different very palatable foods and beverages that people rely on for comfort, and it becomes, eating is such a personal thing. So helping people to see, okay, how can I stay positive? How can I make these changes that I know are good for me, yet still, be true to myself and what I enjoy and what I like to eat, and if it's a social thing or a cultural thing. So I just think there's a lot of opportunities to apply this mantra in areas of our lives, and so that's what I hope to leave you with today. Thank you.